Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make semi-homemade Christmas cookies. So like so many of you, we have, myself and you included, we have so many things to do in the Christmas season. And tonight we're having Christmas carols and cookies at church. And I didn't have much time to make some homemade, but here's a little improvising. I think you'll like these ideas. So I'm gonna do a sugar cookie with some yummy pistachio nuts, some dried cranberries. What I'm gonna do is just buy the pre-made cookie dough, sugar cookie dough, but I'm going to start off with 3/4 cup of pistachios. I'm going to give them a chop in my mini chopper. Take a look at those. Yep, that's pretty good. You don't want them too big, but you don't want it like total dust, but that's about good. All right, and then we have about 3/4 a cup of dried cranberries. They're going to give us a nice sweet, and we're going to chop those up too. I might go a little bit, try a little puree and see how. I want those pieces a little finer. Maybe what's that, a total of 30 seconds in the chopper, and then put those in my little bowl here. Now, I have been making these for years, so what we're going to do is roll out the dough and probably take a little bit of flour just so it won't stick so much. If I can find it real quick. Yeah, here we go. Get a rolling pin. And so what you're going to do is just kind of incorporate. You don't want much because you don't want to change the whole consistency of the recipe and everything. So you just need a little. But so we're going to take this out of the dough, or out of the roll. Take the dough out of the roll. Let's get as much as we can out of here so we don't waste, right? Everything costs so much nowadays. So, but this is a pretty nice cookie with the saltiness of the pistachios and the sweetness of the cherry, or the cranberries, not the cherries. You can get some the dried cherries also. Let me get my rolling pin. And so you're just gonna I'm gonna put a little bit. I had this sitting on the counter so I could easily use it, but now it's a little bit on the soft side. So put a little flour on there, and I'm gonna roll this out just a little bit. And what we're gonna do is we are going to spread our mixture of nuts and cranberries on top of here, and then we're going to mix it together, reshape it, and then put it in the fridge at least in half an hour. Probably an hour would be good, but I don't have that much time, so I'm going to go hopefully with a half an hour, and that will work good. So this is going to have a little bit of a different twist to it, because let me make sure I didn't hit myself out of the shot there. There we go. I accidentally bought jalapeno lime pistachios. So I have probably a half a cup of those pistachios and a half a cup of regular pistachios. I had half a cup left. So I mixed those, and I was like, at first I'm like, oh darn, I can't make it. I'm like, why not? because when we bake the cranberries are going to make these sweet enough, and then when I after these cool down, I drizzle or dunk some of them in melted white chocolate, and I thought that is going to give it plenty of sweetness. So I just wanted to make it a little more lime pronounced. So I'm taking probably like a teaspoon of lime zest, and that will give us a pretty color. Also very festive. And I'm thinking this is going to work out. And if it doesn't work out, you'll never know because I probably won't post this video. So, but sometimes you got to try things, you know, and I made a mistake and I was like, well, I didn't have to make this cookie. I could have made something else, but I was like, you know, this could be really a nice accident coming up with a really cool recipe. So, and I almost thought about putting a few spurts of this lime juice in here. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not. Well, that wasn't a huge lime, so I think that's going to be enough. So hopefully you can get to see that. I'm going to try to move my camera a little bit so you can get a good look at that. I put this other light on, maybe you can see a little better. So see how I coated that? All right. So now we're going to sprinkle our pistachios right on top. And I might not use the whole amount because I did buy 2 rolls. Yeah, we just want to coat the top. And then I probably will only use about half of this mixture. So if you're going to use 2 rolls, this will probably be enough for 2 rolls, depending on how many cookies you need. So I'm just going to roll this dough up. Haven't made these in a few years, but for a while there, I was making these quite often. You know how it is, you have a cookie, you make it a lot, and then you're like, okay, I want to give some other cookies a try. Or are you a traditionalist? You got to have those same cookies every year. Some people are like that. There are certain cookies I always have to have. Russian tea cakes, love those. And my daughter-in-law, she calls them the crack cookie, the crack snowball cookies, because they look like little snowballs. Those are, some people make that with pecans or some with walnuts. I think I usually use walnuts. Now, my daughter-in-law is allergic to like walnuts, pecans, so for her, we used almonds. She can eat almonds fine. So you're just going to give that a good mix through, you can see. And it looks so festive already with the green and the red. And we're just going to remold it, put it in the fridge. And we will have a nice Christmas cookie. Once they cool, we'll drizzle a little bit of white chocolate on there. And we could do some with regular, but I think for this one, I like the white chocolate. So I'm just going to put it in the parchment paper I had, and how quick and easy is that? So we'll come back when it's time to bake. All right, so I've had this chilling, and now I'm just keeping it in the roll. Let me show you. Right now I've cut out about, I don't know, 14 or so cookies. And we're going to take the roll and just slice it about a quarter inch discs. And then what I do is just take a couple, and you're going to slightly roll over it. And you could do it just like this too. But I like to take a little glass. I got this tiny little juice glass. And then I just go over that. And so I've got these nice, perfect little circles. You can dip your end of your glass in flour. You can use a cookie cutter to do this if you want bigger ones, but I like the looks of these. Like I said, I've done it a few different years. So there's this, my oven has been preheating, 350. Now I did a quick chill in the freezer, but the only thing is sometimes if you forget about it, then it's got to sit out a little more, put it in the fridge, because if it's too hard, then it's not very pliable to do your cutouts. That one's not quite perfect, and then you're going to just have a leftover dough and you can make some more cookies. But I'm going to quick get 2 dozen in the oven. And we're going to be hitting the road in a little bit. So I kind of pushed it to the wire, but I got to make more of these. I have a whole nother roll. So like I said, you don't want to make them too thin. Most of them are pretty uniform. You know, the human eye, it's not always exactly the perfect judge of whether it's a 1/4 of an inch, a little more, a little less. And these are full of pistachios and cranberries, a nice ratio. I'll get a close-up on when I get these on the cookie sheet so you can get a... I'm just putting the flour in that glass so that they don't stick. And if I have 2 dozen to take, that'll be great. Because everybody's bringing cookies, so I don't need a ton. These will bake probably about, I'm thinking between 10 and 14 minutes. I think I'll set the, I probably will set the oven for 11 minutes, the timer. And let me see if I can show you my cutting board. Our cutting board, cookie tray, and we're gonna put this on an ungreased tray. Let's see if I can find my favorite spatula. It's probably dirty, so I'll just use these. And the nice thing about these, they are small, but you know, you don't want huge. If we're eating a ton of Christmas cookies, we don't want huge cookies. So I'll give them a little space. And everybody wants to taste everybody's cookies, so just a little bite will do ya. We're going to put some white chocolate on there. You can put milk chocolate or dark chocolate on here. I think I've done it both ways because, like I said, I've made these cookies quite a bit, or not quite a bit, but somewhat regular. And I had a few left over, so I probably have another dozen here I can do, but we'll do these, pop these in the oven, 350. We'll set the timer and we'll see you back. All right, just out of the oven, and we are going to let these cool for 2 to 3 minutes before we take them off the cookie sheet and put them on a tray. Looking pretty good though. All right, we have baked our pistachio cranberry lime cookies, and now I'm going to coat the bottom. So I've gotten some of the white chocolate morsels, and I'm going to take about a cup of those, and I'm going to melt those in the microwave. And then we'll coat those, we'll coat the bottom, but there are a couple ways you can do it. You can coat the bottom and drizzle a little on the top, or you can just drizzle some on the top, or you can actually also think I'm going to start with a half a cup. Well, no, I think I probably could use all this. It's like three dozen cookies. I just don't want to waste it. Now let's do half at a time. So if I was to do a whole cup, I probably would put this in here for 45 seconds. So let's try like 22, 23 seconds. And then we're going to stir it after that. Well, let's do 20. And we can stir it. So, and then we could take some colored red and green sprinkles or the decorator sugar and coat them. So I've done it different ways. This is whatever you're kind of in the mood to do. And let me tell you, so let me stir it first. I'm gonna stir that. Go another 20 seconds. Oh, you know what, too? Let's hit start. Let me turn around here because I do have to take these cookies off the. Took these cookies off the baking sheet because they've been out cooling for probably just a little over 2 minutes. I'm gonna stack them up, and I'm gonna put them on my cookie tray. So what I was saying is I made these for church, and I just put powdered sugar on them because I didn't have enough time. You saw that I was pretty rushed. I didn't have time to coat them for them to cool down and coat them with the white chocolate. So I said, well, I'm just going to do powdered sugar, and they turned out great, and I had a lot of compliments on the cookie. Now, I will say that there was a little bit of bite to it, not at first, but then once you swallow it, you can feel that heat in the back of your throat. But I gotta say, it did go over pretty well, especially those people that like a little bit of kick, and it's not too much. So, but if you don't want a little bit of kick, and you can see this is melting pretty nice. So I only probably need it like, let me stir it. I might not even have to put it in there a little bit. Just a few more seconds. If you can see that. You can just put plain pistachios and not jalapeno stuff. Just pay attention when you buy them at the store. Don't be like me. All right. It's going to be really perfect. Now, if you're making a big batch of it, you certainly can go right away. I like doing a half batch because, you know, we never know what happens, and you have to slow up, and then you've got that already melted. I don't like to remelt it because it doesn't always work out so grand. So I'm going to move my cookie tray, the ones that have cooled. I've got some on the cooling rack. And let's see. Let me set this up. And I'm going to come over here so you can see what I'm doing. So I want to just get a shot here to see if you can see everything fairly well. I'll move my rolling pin. Yeah, I think you can see okay. So basically, it's really simple. You can either just take your cookie like this, and move this over here, and you can just dip it on there. And I don't like the way that coated. I haven't done this in a while, so yeah, let's just take a little teaspoon. These should be cooled enough that little messy, so I'm going to put it on this tray. All right, so we're going to coat the bottoms, and we're going to put some white chocolate. Let's see, let's go over here and just going to take a little teaspoon, put a nice coating on the bottom, and we'll do a few, and then we'll put some sprinkles on there. So while it's still wet, they'll adhere. And this cuts down on that little bit of heat that is in these cookies also. But otherwise, it looks extremely festive. I probably could have done that whole bag at once. You can put it as thin as you want. Let's do half a dozen, and then we'll do some sprinkling. So you get the gist. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me get my sprinkles out. And you can put whatever sprinkles you want, but because I didn't have the green and the green pistachios and red cranberries, I thought, well, let's stay with that. Because I've got all kinds of pretty little, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit. You can do them all one color if you want. I'm going to put mixture. Okay, and now we got the green. Looking so festive. And these will have to cool. I'm not sure at least how long. It's been a while. I think at least an hour. You could probably let them set overnight or for a few hours in the day before you pack them away in any kind of tin or flip them over. You definitely want it to dry. So what I'm going to do is just put these over here, and we'll put these finished ones on here, and we'll have to give one a try when it hardens up. So let's do a couple more. I ended up, I can't remember if I told you, but I got 3 dozen out of the one roll I had left. I used almost a whole roll for my event that I went to the other night. And we'll see how many cookies one bag will. I think it might even be more than one bag, but you can always use milk chocolate if you don't have enough white. I'm probably putting too much, but I mean, not quite a whole teaspoon. Like that one. That one's got a lot on there. But and these ones, this next batch, I think I did them at 11 and 12 minutes. Some batches, that I had one last batch that had 10 cookies, so I turned the heat down not the heat down, but I cooked them a minute or baked them a minute less than. All right. Let's sprinkle. There was all kinds of good Christmas cookies at that gathering the other night. Someone made this carrot cream cheese carrot bars. Oh, they were so good. There was really good um, cookies. I'm trying to remember. Oh, there was some delicious oatmeal raisin. They were like just the perfect texture. Um, nice and soft and not overly gooey, but not hard crunchy. They were good. They were good. Not, I'm trying to think. I did not eat too many because I didn't want to get a tummy ache because we had hot cocoa and that was so good with all the hot cocoa bar we had. They had crushed candy canes and little tiny the mini chocolate morsels and marshmallows and whipped cream. And that was so good, but it was filling. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up and I'll show you when it's done. All right, we are going to make one of my favorite Christmas cookies, and it's the Russian tea cake. And I've got this old church recipe that I got, I'm trying to think if it was late 1980s at one of the churches I attended when my husband was stationed up at Fort Stewart, or not Fort Stewart, that was in Georgia, Fort Drum in Watertown, New York. Anyway, that church, the people had some great recipes. So the only thing I substitute here is, let me go over the list. So there's a cup of butter, half a cup of confectionery sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, 2¼ cups of flour, a quarter teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 cup of chopped fine nuts. So I adjusted this a little bit because on here it actually asked for margarine. Haven't used margarine in decades, so we want the real butter. And I added a little bit more nuts. I'm going to use a whole cup. So and I might add a little more vanilla. But the base is here. I know, I do this. And there are a lot of recipes out there, and they're all pretty similar. There are some variations, but this is how we're going to do. And look how weathered this is. So we're going to start by creaming our butter. We're using 1 cup of unsalted butter. So we need, 2 sticks. And I'm using my paddle adjustment on my KitchenAid. And 1 stick is a half a cup, so we need a whole cup. I had this at room temperature just because I'm doing a lot of Christmas baking and stuff, so I just had it out on the counter. And I want a half a cup of confectionery sugar. And you're going to need more confectionery sugar for you coating these after they cool down. All right, so we're going to use that, and then our vanilla. Let's see, do I need? And I always like a little bit more vanilla, so I'm going to start that at low. I'll do 1 Yeah, who am I kidding? I like it more. I like a lot of vanilla in mine. Like, let's get real. So we're going to cream that together. Won't take long. I don't know if actually, I probably should have researched how long the butter, like how warm, how cold it should be. I should check that out. But we do have to chill the dough. So I'm just going to scrape down those sides. Give a quick little cut medium high. And I'm going to scrape that down. Sorry. I notice I do that a lot. Well, because you don't want to waste all the goodness. So let me get that and scrape this off, because that is a lot of ingredients right there. Let me know in the comments what your favorite cookie is. I mean, I don't think I've met a cookie I don't like. I don't know. What about you? I mean, Christmas cookies, come on, they're so good. They're just like a little bite of sweetness. It tastes great with a cup of coffee or tea, cocoa. I like coffee or tea more, but just because cocoa is a little sweeter. But I will say the other night at our church gathering, the hot chocolate was nice. It wasn't too sweet. So whoever made it, props to you. Do they still say that? I know. I don't think they do, but anyway, try not to bang that so loud. All right. So we got that in there. And then next we're going to add the flour and the salt. And I like to put it through my little sifter. I had it out, so I'll be ready. Oh, here it is. And we'll do a cup at a time. And let's use this. Well, I'm just making a big mess. So I always put my little parchment paper so you can just wrap it up and at the end. Let's pile it on there and let's put it through here. Oh, I put a little bit too much. And if you, I just have this small sifter. Actually, it works easy if I tap it here. And some cookies are better, are much better if you sift. I don't know all of them. So I'm just sifting on here. Oh, I'm gonna put that rest of that cup. And actually, the sifted amount is sometimes different than the measured amount, but just I've got a lot to do today, so I'm just not taking that little extra special care. I know baking is like a science, but I know anybody that's really a professional baker, you're probably cringing at me. Why did I do that? If you think I learned the first time? So I'd like to know how many batches or different kinds of cookies that you make every year. I think we tend to make like five or six. I know there's some people that have all kinds of cookies, and I'm like, wow, you're good. I can't seem to crank that many out. Sometimes my daughter and I will make different cookies, and then we've got a variety. Oh, you know what? I was going to do that on a quarter because that was 2 cups. And this is a quarter. Yeah, my daughter and I will, now that we live in the same state, we'll each add our different cookies to the batch. And I remember years ago, do a lot more cookie swaps, which was like a really nice thing to do because, you know, I think how those go is you pretty much everybody makes a couple kinds of cookies or one kind of cookie, and you just make several batches, enough for like 2 dozen to swap with other people, like 2 dozen per swapping. So if you wanted like 12 different cookies, you're gonna make a batch for yourself, so you'd make 13 batches. Well, 2 dozen batches, and then you'd have your batch of 2 dozen, and then you share with everyone else and they share with you. So then you've got a big variety and you didn't do all the work, you just kind of did one cookie, and that's kind of easy, right? So now we're gonna, I added the flour, I'm gonna use a little bit of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. There we go. And then we're gonna add the nuts. Like, this is so simple. Did I add, oh yeah, there they are. And now this recipe says to do it by hand, and I have done it by hand, but I don't want to get my hands all gunked up when I'm recording. So here we go. So there's a cup. So I got a little bit left over. And I'm just gonna, let's see, do I need anything else? No. I'm just gonna start off slowly. And it's coming together. Let's see if I can move my camera without making a huge jobble. Oh, I got something stuck in there. Oh, hold on. There you go. It's coming together. Lighting isn't the greatest. All right, let me go back. All right. And we'll scrape off this. And you're going to want to chill this, wrap this up, chill it for about 1 hour in the fridge. And then we're going to roll them into balls and bake them. I let them cool for, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, it's like 5 or 10 minutes. And then I coat them once, I let them cool, and then I go back and coat them a second time. And some people let them cool completely. I mean, you can't put them right into the sugar. Like, you do have to let them cool enough that they don't all crumble, because that can happen. I have tried to rush the process, and this is a pretty quick put together. Yeah, check that out. Doesn't that look good? And I like these. They're not overly sweet. Let me get some parchment paper. They're not overly sweet. Well, you do coat them with powdered sugar, but that buttery, nutty flavor mixed with the sweetness. Oh, I said my granddaughter. My daughter-in-law calls them the crack cookie because she can't stop. And she's not a huge sweet girl. She's not like big on sweets, but she loves these cookies. And these were made with gluten-free flour. So this is a gluten-free recipe, you can make it with all-purpose flour. I've done it for years and years with all-purpose flour. Actually, I think this may be my third time making them. Maybe more than that. Probably more like fifth or sixth time. Probably forgot really how many times, because my daughter-in-law, she's gluten intolerant, and I've made these also for my grandkids. So yeah, so you're just gonna mush that together. And I'll smush it out. It really doesn't, we're gonna make balls out of them, so the shape doesn't really matter. I just think it will maybe chill a little nicer if I roll it out like that. Wrap that up. Yeah, what was I saying about the gluten-free? Oh yeah, this is a gluten-free recipe. You can use all-purpose. There was something. Oh, she's allergic to nuts, so we always use almonds. So you can substitute the type of nuts. But she's not going to be eating these this year. So, all right, we'll wrap that up. We'll be back after this chills and we'll make our cookies. All right, so next we are going to chop 1 cup of nuts. I've got 3/4 a cup of walnuts and 1/4 cup of pecans. I ran out of walnuts, so I thought I had a whole nother bag, and it may be somewhere. Just don't know where I put it, because I have like 3 pantries, so don't ask. So I'm gonna pulse these. And we're gonna want to really fine chop on these. And I think that's pretty good. Let me take those out so you can get a good look at the texture there. I might put them in a clear bowl so you can kind of see what the texture is. So yeah, so that's what you can see. So you don't want huge pieces of nuts in this cookie recipe. So there you go. So we've got that, and we'll move on. All right, so this dough has chilled more than an hour, because I had a lot to do today. So it's been in the fridge for a few hours, but now we're going to make our dough balls. So I use a melon scooper so I kind of get a more even cookie, or what's the word I want to use? Not even, but so they're all kind of the same size. We don't want them all different sizes, so. And I'm just gonna try to get 2 dozen on here. We'll see. Oops. And I took this out of the fridge for a good, I think, 20 minutes, because again, it was in there a few hours. It got pretty hard, so I don't want it too soft that they're mushy and all melted, but at the same time we want them chilled enough, but enough where we can roll them easily. So just go like this. Gosh, I'm trying to think of my mom. I think my mom used to make these too, but I don't remember if she did them every year. But some family member made these, and I think some people call them Mexican wedding cakes, maybe. I'm not sure, but Anyway, they are super yummy. They're nice and buttery and flaky, and you get the nuts in there, and just reminds you of Christmas. You know, you roll them in the powdered confectionery sugar, and they look like little snowballs, and they're addictive. You cannot just eat one. I'm telling you, you can't. And they taste good with coffee, tea, cocoa, you name it. They're pretty easy to make, don't you think? I'm trying to think of if I should have thought of it ahead of time. Do I have any unique Christmas cookie stories? Well, I guess one, it's not unique. It's really what everybody does. You know, you always have those family get-togethers. That was some of the fun memories, is when we would get together as a family. Usually the sisters-in-laws and the nieces and the daughters would get together, and we all have our favorite cookie we'd make, and we would just have a bake-off, and it'd be just such fun. In those days, we don't do it as much because we're so spread out now. We don't get to see each other every year, so that's a special treat. I just treasure those memories of getting together and baking together. And I'll have to see if I can dig out any of those old pictures, but they were fun times. And I had a bigger kitchen back then, so we had plenty of space for counter space. Now I have a small apartment kitchen, but I still bake. I still bake because it's in the blood, right? I mean, you can get store-bought cookies, but homemade is so much better. Let's see, I think I had 5 on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I gotta space this one out a little bit more. We'll see how many. I'm hoping, I think we'll get 4 or 5 dozen. I don't know. I might be mistaken. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. Let's do 25. So we could do 25. Uniform. That was the word. I knew it would come to me. It's been a long day. Uniform. We want them uniform. I mean, there'll be little variations, but let's just smooth these a little bit. I mean, I probably should be satisfied. I think I'll just do the 20 because I want them to cook nice. So I'm going to put them in the 375-degree oven, and I think it's about 10 to 14 minutes. I got to double check on that. I'll let you know. But let's put the timer on for 10 and see how they are. And we will be back when they're done. Okay, the cookies are in the oven. They took about 16 minutes, I think, because the dough is still pretty cold. So it should take anywhere from 10 to 14 minutes, and they're just slightly golden brown, barely. And we're gonna pull them off of here. I could probably pick them up now because they've been cooling for about 4 minutes. Probably should be like more like 2 and take them off, but they're still pretty more than warm. So what we're gonna do next is put them in. Let's, I have enough time to put these on a plate and put these on the this other half of the batch. I can put that on my pan so I can get those in the oven, and I can sit down for the night and have some supper. Oh, I guess I could have done 5. So I think I got, what did I figure? Like something like 40 cookies. That's pretty good, right? And these do not expand much, so you can put quite a few on there. And I did bake so many, so I don't know if that took a little bit extra. Now this dough's been sitting out, so I'm thinking I probably will be okay. It might not take as long with this next batch, but I'm gonna send it. I am gonna put it for 14 minutes because I just think I'll need it. I noticed some people bake these at 400 and some at 375, so I chose the 375 in my oven. So let's clear that up. Well, you know what? This will be good because sure we're gonna make a mess with the powdered sugar. So let's come over here. I want to make sure you can see me okay. So let's see if I can go a little closer. Yeah. I usually like to test it out a little bit, so let's go like that. There we go. And I put about a cup of confectionery sugar in my bowl. Usually I use a paper lunch bag, but I didn't have any more and I forgot all about that. So I'm just going to put a couple in here and just lightly toss your cookie in the powdered sugar. You don't want to go too hard because you'll break your cookie and crumble up. And you don't want to have to say that's how the cookie crumbles. I know. Oh, smack me for that one, huh? How corny can you get? So you still want this to be pretty warm so that you can get a good coating, and we will let these cool a little bit, and then we'll do another coating. So you basically do 2 coatings of these, and these cookies can make ahead and freeze. They say it's about a week if you are going to keep them out and keep them in a tin or something. They stay fresh for about a week. And I've frozen these many times. I think there is a little bit. Some people don't coat theirs with the confectionery sugar, and I'll have to look that up and see what they do. But I always coated them, and then I put wax paper in between wax or parchment paper. I think parchment paper is better. So I'll put some parchment paper in my tin, and then I will take put a layer of cookies and then another layer of parchment paper so that they don't all stick together. And then I'll put them in. Sometimes I'll just use a plastic container instead of the tins. They fit better in the freezer. So yep, basically just coating these. They look like little snowballs. It's so hard to use self-control and not have any. But I didn't eat my supper yet, so I don't want to spoil my supper. Because at work today, somebody brought in nothing but cakes for us. And wasn't that so sweet? And I'm trying not to eat all that stuff, but because I'm doing 80% clean eating. But I haven't been too bad, but I have had a few things over the holidays, and that's the way it's going to be until I learn how to even make more healthy treats. Now well, I'll say they don't use a whole lot of sugar as I'm coating it in sugar, but I think the recipe only calls for a half a cup of confectionery sugar. I almost thought about I do have date sugar, but that's still a little it's a finer sugar, but I think it still might be too grainy. I might try a couple just to see, but this is then it's not really authentic Russian tea cakes. So if you're a person that used sugar alternatives, Please let me know in the comment if you've got a good alternative that's a better, healthier sugar, because I'm up for that. I want it to taste good, but in the end, I'm not willing to eat a whole mess of junky stuff because it hurts the body. After 61 years, it took me a little time, 60 years, to say, you know what? Tired of hurting. Let's find out what's causing it. Sugar definitely causes a lot of pain in the body. But a little bit in moderation, I think we'll be okay. So I'm going to let those cool. The other ones are in the oven, and I'll wait for those, and we'll pull those out, and we'll do the little taste test. All right, friends, we've got some of our Christmas cookies done, and we couldn't let this video go by without tasting them. So here are the yummy Russian tea cakes. Doesn't that look so pretty? And, I saved some of my tins. I thought I liked this one because I had a couple of those red truck type of things as decor. It wasn't actually red. I had turquoise. But anyway, I thought it was so festive. So I kept that tin. And then I have another tin of my pistachio, cranberry lime pistachio cookies. And I'll show you that finished. So remember, we did two things. Well, three things. I put some of the milk chocolate on the top. We did some more of a swirl on the top of our drizzle. And then we have some, it's on the bottom that we just did the bottom. And remember, these were a little spicy. So I'm going to put them on a plate. So the white chocolate helped tone down that spiciness a little bit. And they're not overly spicy, but if somebody doesn't like the hint of spicy, they may not like that. Like I said, these went over super well at our Christmas Carol and cookie event. So here, let's go ahead and try it. Let me eat this one because this one's a lot messier. So to see how I put the red and green sprinkles on there. It looks very festive. Those are so good. You can see in the bite, you can see the cranberry. It's so yummy. I have to finish my morning cup of coffee. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Yeah, that bite I felt a little bit. That was good. Yummy. And now the Russian tea cakes. They are my favorite. I love the buttery, crispy, and a little bit of the nuts are so fine, so it's not like you're never have a hard time with nuts. They're so fine that you don't get a big hunk of nut in there, but that's kind of what it looks like. And I double coated these, remember? I double coated them with the confectionery sugar. So we'll see what other treats we have today. These are good. Hope you try them.